Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Banco macro, and this was a stock analysis request by one of the followers, and I want to remind you all that anyone can make these requests and I will most likely cover them, these stocks, especially if there is an actionable trade setup to follow on the specific chart. Now in the case of this stock, we are looking here at best at the leading diagonal that is developing to the upside. And in this case, we have an ABC that completed here a wave 1, and then we had our decently strong correction to the downside that took us mostly directly to the 78.6% retracement at $10. And yeah, we broke briefly below it, but we had an immediate reaction to the upside. It was not a sustained break, so in my opinion, this fully held as needed. Now, normally, I would consider, when we have an ABC pattern that develops in a wave 1, I would consider that it could be a double 1-2-1-2 setup. But the issue is that we actually broke below this wave below at around $10.8 level. So it formally invalidated the idea of this being a 1-2 setup, unfortunately. And the other unfortunate thing about this large time frame on this chart is that we actually could be looking here at a 5-wave move to the downside in this supposed wave 2 correction in blue. So there is still a real risk and an immediate threat that this could break down. So this chart is not a very safe one, I might leave it simply at that, because we could realistically be in a 1-2 setup that developed, and we would then follow in a third wave to the downside and break and form new all-time lows. The fortunate part, however, is that in this supposed 1-2 correction, or the wave 2 correction, we broke above what would be considered the ideal levels to hold for a wave 2 after a 5-wave move, which would be up to the 78.6% retracement level at $77. So we broke quite substantially above that. So yeah, more chances, more probabilities favoring that it isn't that scenario in this case. And yeah, on the flip side, we did hold the large time frame support zone for this level at the 78.6% retracement. Now, this doesn't mean that it is something easy to trade and to follow, because overall we are tracking a leading diagonal at best to the upside. Now, it could still turn into something larger as an ABC, where we would be looking in this case for a 5-wave move in this area. But for the scenario that this is a wave 1, this is wave 2, and now we are in the third wave to the upside, we would be tracking an ABC pattern. And the issue with that, with the ABC pattern in the third wave to the upside, is that an A wave can be either a 3-wave move or it can be a 5-wave move. So there is a lot of lack in clarity, because now I can actually track this supposed A wave to the upside as either a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that is developing, or I could track it as an ABC movement that even completed here, and we would now be looking for an even larger correction, not just a wave 4, that would be a wave B to the downside. And in that case, for a wave B, we would actually be looking at the area between, oh, it's overlapped here, but is the area between $45.6 down to around $16.6 level at the 78.6% retracement here in green. Now, in this idea, as I said, we would be looking for a larger ABC. Let's even mark it on the chart, and yeah, let's make it a larger degree. And on the flip side, in the interpretation that we would be tracking a 5-wave move to the upside, I could be tracking it either as a diagonal pattern, as a leading diagonal in a wave A, or an impulse. Now, in the impulse interpretation, I would actually need this to be a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. Then this would be the third wave, this would be the fourth. But in this interpretation, it would need to hold the 50% retracement level at $45.5. in the interpretation that this is developing as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a diagonal movement, where this would maybe be an ABC, then this would be another ABC in the third wave, we could allow the fourth wave to reach the 61.8% retracement in yellow at the $36.3 level. So as you can see, these support zones overlap quite significantly, and not only that, we fall from one directly into the other, so there isn't a clear area to set a stop loss, which is why it is so difficult to trade the A wave to the upside in this case. And it would be much easier, let's say that this A wave topped here, we form a B wave, and then we get the 1-2 setup. It would be much easier to track the C wave to the upside, because we know the C wave is a 5-wave move. So after this 1-2, we could easily track the third wave to the upside that would develop. Now, that wouldn't be the case necessarily if we form this 5-wave move in yellow in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where this would be an A wave, because, as I mentioned earlier, if you remember, we could be in a larger ABC pattern, and then we wouldn't have the reassurance that we are still looking to form another high. But with that said, for now, there isn't much to add except the ideal target for this immediate correction, and that would be for either an ABC or a WXY pattern the same. It would be the 100% extension being the ideal target at $51.7 level. We also have some mini resistance area here that provided support and a decent movement to the upside, but yeah, this could turn, to be honest, into something a lot more bearish. Doesn't look too great, but overall, if we zoom a bit out, we see that we reacted pretty nicely here to the 38.2% retracement, although I don't consider this move necessarily complete yet. But these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. And yeah, I also wanted to add that, but anyway, bye bye.